There are moments in life that pass silently, moments that leave no mark on the earth, moments that no camera records and no human applauds. Yet the heavens tremble because of them, and this is the story of one such moment. A moment so small that people would overlook it, yet so heavy that it carried a soul straight to Jannah. This is the story of the final Sajda, the Sajda that became a bridge between the dunya and the Akhirah, a reminder that Allah does not measure deeds by their size, but by the sincerity hidden inside the heart. Because in a world obsessed with status, wealth, recognition, and power, Allah still looks at something far simpler, the humility of a servant who bows sincerely before Him. This story begins not in a palace or a battlefield, but in the quiet life of an ordinary believer, a man unknown to history, whose name was never written in books and whose face was never recognized in crowds. A man who lived a life full of struggle, mistakes, repentance, and hope. Like so many of us today, he was not perfect. He stumbled, he fell, he sinned, and he returned again and again to Allah, carrying a heart that was tired of the dunya but still attached to its creator. And every time life crushed him, every time guilt weighed heavy on his chest, he found peace in one place only, the prayer mat. Because when the world closed its doors on him, Allah's door remained open, and as years passed, his body grew weaker, his back bent, his breath shortened, and the dunya slowly began to loosen its grip on him. Until one night, a night like any other, he stood for prayer with a heart heavier than usual. Not knowing that this prayer would be different, not knowing that this Sajda would be his last, he raised his hands and said, Allahu Akbar. And with those words, he stepped out of the noise of the world and into the presence of his Lord. As he recited, his voice trembled not from weakness but from longing, because something inside him knew, something unseen whispered that this meeting was closer than ever. And when he went into ruku, his spine bowed, but his soul rose. And when he lowered himself into Sajda, pressing his forehead against the ground, the lowest position a human can take, the highest position a believer can reach, something extraordinary happened in that Sajda. He did not ask for wealth. He did not ask for fame. He did not even ask for ease. He only whispered what Allah loves most. Ya Rab, I am weak. You are strong. I am nothing without you. Forgive me, accept me, do not turn me away. And in that moment, when his face touched the dust, his heart touched the mercy of Allah. Angels gathered, the heavens listened, and Allah, whose mercy outweighs his wrath, accepted that Sajda. And as he remained there, unmoving, the soul quietly left the body, not with fear, not with pain, but with peace. Because he left this world in the most beloved state to Allah, in sujud. And when the angels carried his soul upward, they carried a soul that left the dunya while bowing to its creator. A soul that did not chase the world in its final breath, but surrendered completely. And this is why this Sajda led to Jannah, because Allah does not abandon the servant who meets him while worshipping. The Prophet told us that the closest a servant is to Allah is during Sajda. And imagine meeting Allah at your closest point. Imagine leaving the world while your forehead is on the ground and your heart is calling your Lord. This is not just a story, it is a reminder, a warning and a hope. A reminder that no matter how broken you feel, no matter how sinful your past is, one sincere Sajda can outweigh a lifetime of mistakes. A warning that life ends suddenly, without announcement, without delay, and a hope that Allah's mercy is closer than we think, because Jannah is not reserved for the famous, the powerful, or the perfect. It is reserved for the sincere. And that final Sajda teaches us something timeless, that success is not how high you stand in the world, but how low you bow before Allah, that the ground you place your forehead on may one day become the witness that saves you in that. Perhaps the Sajda you rush today, the prayer you delay, the moment of humility you postpone could have been the one that changed your destiny. So when you next fall into Sajda, remember, this might be the last one. Make it real, make it honest, make it heavy with tears and hope, because sometimes one Sajda is all it takes, and sometimes that Sajda is the one that leads straight to Jannah.